tends to absolutely thrive.
Yeah, they've looked really good. And I mean, just to put it in perspective, the only teams they've lost to in their last 10 or so sets have been Cloud9, which you've seen how good Cloud9 looks, right? IDD QD, that's the gold standard when it comes to Overwatch teams right now. Reunited GG, of course, who is also probably the top European team, if not second best, etc. And again to Cloud9. So it's not like they're losing to rough teams, which, there were a couple non-ceremonious showings for them in some of the weeklies where they lose in a round of 8. Not really been the case as of late. And conversely, they've beaten teams like Impulse 11. They've beaten Team Liquid. They beat Envious. They were the last team, I think, to ever beat Team Envious, in history. So they've looked phenomenal. They've changed up their roster. They've looked really good. And we're just going to see if Grouchy Desperados can do anything against them.
Grouchy Desperados taking out every payload map they can thus far. They might be angling for King of the Hill, and thus far, Temple Nubis, Hanamura, Volskaya, all down from LG. LG taking out the capture point maps, but here we are, our pool of 5 maps: Gibraltar, Hollywood, Nabani, Nepal, and Lijiang. So Desperados, they can bring us to potentially 2 King of the Hill maps here versus LG.
Well, and LG struggled on King of the Hill, of course, against Cloud9's Twinston, offense and composition there too. So maybe that is their strategy. I think their strategy right now, and we've mentioned this before, if teams think they might just be a little bit outclassed by another team, to maybe go to non-traditional maps, I think is the way to put it. Maybe cheese out a win here on a Control Point or a King of the Hill. Of course, Control Point feels a little more cheesy than King of the Hill, as teams have adapted to King of the Hill a lot quicker than Control Point for that matter. Probably part of the strategy, that's the reason we have map drafts, is it adds a new element to the game and a new element to the meta.
All right, so I just need to clarify one thing here that Chaz said a lot today. I am not wearing a bathrobe. I am wearing an incredibly comfortable, form-fitting Tempo Storm hoodie. Go to Tempo Storm.
You almost did it.
Go to tempostorm.com and get one of your own. I don't even know, but how does this look like a bathrobe? I don't even understand.
Papa Reynad would be proud. You tried to sell out, and Reynad is the best at it. I only follow.
I couldn't even get the storm out of my mouth because I was laughing too hard. But
I only follow in Reynad's footsteps when I mention our wonderful sponsors like Matcherino, G2A, and DX Racer. And I'm sure if Tempo Storm or did a Hearthstone tournament, they would be proud to have sponsors like Matcherino, DX Racer, and G2A. And I mean, if you guys wanted to crowdfund a tournament like that, like our tournament, you could go to our Matcherino page with !Matcherino. You could buy games on G2A using the code Overkill. Or you could just, save that money up and put it into a DX Racer chair. Now, I'm no Reynad, and I can't sell out to those levels. But if I were, I would be happy.
If you were, that wasn't too bad.
That's all right.
Either way, we are getting into this. First map will be Gibraltar. Grouchy Desperados preferring to defend rather than to attack, and we're going to be getting ready here in just a moment.
Yeah, kind of interesting that they prefer on the defense, though. We've definitely seen a trend recently of teams preferring to attack. So Gibraltar, I think, hopefully these teams are a little more evenly matched than what we saw against Cloud9 versus Liquid. Not that, Liquid is not up to Cloud9's level, but they haven't been tonight. Hopefully we get to see the hangar phase. It's one of my favorite phases of the game. I think the second stages of a lot of these maps are really diverse, and a lot of the second stages, the theme they have in common is they really reward verticality as well. So like a Hollywood where rooftops become into play, the shuttle in the hangar stage of Gibraltar becomes a very big focal point of the fights.
Yep, well, we are getting in here. Map number 1 of the last set of the day, Grouchy Desperados versus Luminosity. And Luminosity looking here for a very decisive victory. The sort of show, you know what? We have arrived and we want to fight for the championship here in the Overkill.gg League.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes here. So far, no double Winstons or anything like that. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of defense the Grouchy Desperado puts out. I mean, we're kind of just learning Grouchy Desperado. I got a little bit of info from the guys. They weren't like a set team before in a different game or anything. They all have very diverse gaming backgrounds, from Team Fortress 2 to kind of just whatever was available, whatever was coming out. And they're definitely a beta team. They all just kind of met and formed a roster through just playing with each other in open beta, or in closed beta rather, and just finding each other here and there. Just kind of stacking the roster, like, this is a good player, let's add a good player, and now they've all come together to make the team Grouchy Desperados.
Indeed. Meanwhile here, looking at the offense, setting up for the side of Luminosity. Luxogram of Gods on the McCree, Seagull on his trademark Genji, Enigma on the Widowmaker, Pooks on Lucio, Esper on Mercy, and Milo on Reinhardt. And definitely, I feel like looking at Luminosity here, they're definitely going to a lot of their comfort heroes. Seagull, of course, probably most well known for his Genji. Gods, we've seen him on nothing but McCree. Esper rose to fame on his Mercy, so we'll see how things go. But I like LG's hero selection here thus far.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty solid here. I mean, we've seen so much double McCree, and like you mentioned, adding in Gods really lets them go through DPS, and that's why you see Seagull able to still play that Genji. Defensively, though, we are going to see El Presidente here. We've got Mangachu on the Bastion. Dump Truck is going to be playing a Torbjorn, so double builder, triple builder, add in Symmetra with Red Expert. MTG is going to be on McCree, Naptime on Mercy, Chronic on Reinhardt. Very staticky defense.
I'll take a look at Seagull. Seagull not wasting any time, gang that sure can harass down. And look at what we see coming out here from Desperados. They're holding in the server room. And this is something we used to see Cloud9 do a lot in the past. Cloud9 now opting for a more spread out defense, but this has been effective on Gibraltar before, so we'll see if Desperados has any effect with it here today.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned before, is that when you do see teams really mount up on defense here, it's often in this server room. It's going to be interesting to see how the offense tries to choose to go about this. Some offenses will ignore this. Now it looks like they're in a really rough spot getting picked off here. The Res is forced to come out. They have to chase the cart down now.
Yeah, and the Seagull with 2 pickoffs here so far. Desperados not really doing much to get onto the cart, and in fact, they don't even fight most of Desperados. They just stand in the cart and push it forward, so I feel like that wasn't quite what the Desperados were looking for there.
No, definitely not. Just able to kind of, I guess, call that a back cap if you want. Bastion does get taken out eventually, and now, I mean, we mentioned Gibraltar is a very momentum-based map too, so it's really about taking this high ground early. That's exactly what Enigma and Esper are going to do with this offensive Widow.
And right now, LG absolutely unstoppable. I mean, they went through there, didn't really even give much care to the defense, able to push the payload forward, and now Desperados in a bit of trouble here. If they don't win this next hangar fight, they could lose the hangar phase right away as well. Meanwhile, we do have Gods with the Deadeye, picks up 2 kills. Seagull with the double kill of his own. The Dragon Blade coming out, and Gods and Seagull both exploding. Seagull with the triple kill. And Desperados just getting absolutely bullied. We're already through the hangar phase. This might be one of the quickest watch point Gibraltar times I think I've ever seen.
Well, it's absolutely on pace to be the quickest. Now, things can change here at the end, as it is a pretty solid defensive point, but I think they might need to start running their own Widowmaker to deal with Enigma. Widow, of course, good on defense on this last point. They're stabilizing a little bit as they're able to bully out the super aggressive offense coming over the top. Maybe they'll be able to stabilize here on defense.
Maybe. Note, though, that Milo does have the Earth Shatter up, so does Chronic, of course, but Milo's made some really big Earth Shatter plays in the past. Might be getting speed boosted in here in just a moment. Winston coming out. Here comes the Earth Shatter. Does not quite connect the way he was looking for. Ends up charging the wall. Commentator's Curse in full effect. Meanwhile, we have Chronic with the Earth Shatter. Knocks down 3 people. Gets a whole ton of value. And LG might be getting sent back now. In comes the defensive res, and that should solidify things for the Desperados. LG suffering the first big team wipe of the game.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Seagull still alive here in the back, trying to stay alive versus Mangachu. Seagull still alive, landing some good poke, in danger, but will eventually go down to the Peacemaker of MTG.
Well, that's going to put the offense in a 5v6 right now, which is a little rough, losing Seagull late like that, which is why he was trying to dance out of there defensively. They're going to engage on this, knowing they have the advantage. Mangachu and Chronic add a couple kills to that too, and now the defense in a pretty good footing, forces out the offensive resurrection.
2 kills for the defense. That being said, as you mentioned, the offensive res is out. They're moving all the way back. Seagull does have the Dragon Blade. Here it comes. Gonna have to start with the deflect, but still has 5 seconds of Dragon Blade left. Moving into the back, slices down the people that are knocked down. Gets 3 kills effectively before being taken out by Mangachu. Defensive resurrection is up. Mangachu coming back up, going to the back, has Esper in his sights. Esper in deep trouble, eats a rocket to the face. Down he goes. And again, Desperados finding their defensive footing here, able to push back Luminosity again, but they still have to do this for another 7 minutes, X. That is not going to be easy.
Yeah, they're just kind of stalling out so that they can, you know, at least in worst case scenario, put up a more beatable time on defense, as the cart had been moving non-stop up to this point. Some really nice play by Naptime after a questionable resurrection early. He got himself in good position, though, using Mangachu's height to be able to resurrect his team and really make sure they won that last fight.
You see a Deadeye here coming out from the offense. Gods looking for whatever he can get. Seagull coming in. Meanwhile, MTG with the Deadeye, he's going to go down. The Gods not able to get the value he's looking for. And this is not bad for LG. That being said, Mangachu comes in over the top, is able to take out Seagull, moving forward, getting more poke, and takes out Enigma. And Mangachu putting the team on his back here and then some. That being said, it's still engaged. Enigma coming in with the double kill from the back as McCree. The kill feed suddenly going nothing but red in favor of LG. Mangachu's heroics perhaps not enough. MTG going to get shot in the head by Enigma, and now LG just rolling to the last point here.
Yeah, and of course the really important pick that came out there was on Nap Time, who had Resurrection up and available, ready to bring everyone up. Here comes the Resurrection now, though. He's able to get out of spawn, and now they can sell this out even longer.
Yeah, the defense might be able to hold here. They do get 2 kills off that Resurrection. Chronic moving forward will go down to Enigma. The offense pushed back a little bit, but here comes Seagull, has the Dragon Blade at the ready, moving in, slicing and dicing, able to get 1, 2 kills here so far, makes it 3. And there it is, LG able to take the point. Not a bad showing for them whatsoever, and a very quick Gibraltar time.
Yeah, but they were able to at least stop the bleeding a little bit there towards the end, so it made the time that they were able to post on offense at least somewhat beatable, because at the pace they were running, that was a damn near perfect offensive push, and probably one of the fastest times we've ever seen. So this defense at the end, off a lot of the back of Nap Time, Resurrection was able to stall out long enough. Now they're in a position where if they can mount a good offense, they can actually take a map off of LG. 517 is very fast, though.
Yeah, 517, I mean, it's beatable, but that's definitely on the faster end of Gibraltar times. I'm not going to rule out the Desperados yet, but they're going to have to move in with a great deal of ferocity, and that's going to be difficult against LG. I mean, ever since I've had Gods, I've been very, very impressed with their defense. Just having a solid McCree player that frees up Enigma to be more flex, frees up Seagull to switch up a little bit more as well, it has worked out so well for LG. And I mean, again, it's a beatable time, but I do think Desperados have their work cut out for them.
I mean, it just shows you how fast those first 2 points fell, right? Because the defense looked like it was doing a pretty decent job towards last, and still, even with those nice resurrections and the stall outs and the good kills and kind of just the footing of the defense getting finally back under them, still 517. I mean, that is still a very, very impressive offensive time. I think if Desperados had it to do again, they would run just a more standard defense. Probably the server strategy didn't work out well for them with the Bastion there too. Just got completely ignored, and they were just got, you know, all of a sudden they were in fine position, then they were completely out of position just based on where they were on defense.
So taking a look here at the defense as it rolls out here for the LG side, we're gonna have Milo on the Reinhardt, Seagull on the Genji, Enigma and Gods on a pair of McCrees, Esper on Mercy, and Pooks on the Lucio.
Yeah, some interesting stuff coming out from offense is that if this is what they stay on, and as I mentioned that, they start flipping around. I thought Dump Truck was going to be on the D.Va. I really like D.Va on first point here. It's actually a strategy we used to see old Not Enigma run a lot, just to take this high ground early on. But, you know, to that same effect, I think Dump Truck is going to be on the Winston. MTG is going to be on McCree. Nap Time, of course, on Mercy. Bread Expert is going to be on Lucio. Chronic on Reinhardt. I'm not sure what Mangachu is going to come up as, but right now he is on Reaper. Don't see a ton of offensive Reaper on this map. So we'll see if he gets in good position here, maybe using a teleporter to his advantage, but yeah, all for naught as he does come up on the offensive Widowmaker. That makes a bit more sense on this map right now, especially. So they're going to look for those early picks. Meanwhile, LG is posted up in a very interesting spot that Cloud9 was on. They were looking to do the drop down. They abandoned that immediately.
Yep, if they saw something else develop there, maybe they would have gone for the drop down, but they didn't like what they saw. They're moving back, and you don't really have to engage too early as a defense here. You can roll back and defend in the last cubby hole to great success, and that's exactly what LG is going to do here. And this is going to make things a little bit rough for Mangachu. He's looking for the pickoffs, but right now, nothing to be picked off. We'll see if that changes here in a moment.
Is that Dump Truck came off the Winston, he's on the Genji, and he spotted them in that corner. So they weren't going to have the element of surprise there. Now they do take a very aggressive stance up here. They have both snipers on the edge here. Seagull comes in, tries to deal with Mangachu.
He had a good deflect, and there it goes. Seagull using Genji to his max performance there, gets a double kill. Enigma, meanwhile, getting a double kill of his own, and a very, very solid defense coming out from LG. There's the team wipe horn, and they made that look easy.
Yeah, so we are going to see switch-ups immediately coming out from Grouchy. Mangachu does come up on a second McCree now, of course, very popular. We do see double Cowboys on both sides here. Dump Truck is going to remain on the Genji, but obviously they didn't think they were going to get the value out of the Widow play. Of course, just based on the positioning of LG, they're probably right about that.
There they are. They're trying to take the server room directly, not wanting to go in from the other direction, but they're getting pushed back. A lot of fire going onto the Reinhardt shields. God's right-clicking, Enigma right-clicking. 2 quick kills for the McCrees of Luminosity. Dump Truck able to take out Enigma, but not a bad defense here so far by LG. Deadeye might be coming out in just a moment. Resurrection going to break up a whole ton of fallen Desperados. Mangachu getting in there as McCree, so offense still hanging in there at the end. But look at this, Dump Truck with the Dragon Blade going to do a little bit of work. Will get taken out in the end, but look at this. Pook's one of the only people remaining here as the Desperados move forward.
Yeah, about 3.5 minutes remain, give or take a few seconds here and there. So still, you know, kind of on pace. They got stalled out more than LG did there, but they're still in it mathematically here, and it's really going to depend on the momentum they can get to this hangar. However, LG in a good position already on defense. They're taking high ground. They're in a nice defensive position for hangar phase.
Yeah, LG getting into the side room. The side room can be really, really hard to break. We saw it happen before in the past, but teams have sort of forgotten about it to some extent, but LG getting in there now. Enigma with the Deadeye at his command, might be using that anytime soon here. Right now, just lots of fanning the hammer going on from Enigma, and God's doing a lot of damage. But Mangachu coming right back, getting a kill with MTG. 3 kills now for the offense. Seagull, one of the last defenders alive. In the back, going to eat a flashbang. Down he goes. And Desperados, nothing flashy, but they're turning this in their favor. And there's the Resurrection. Resurrect coming up out on both sides. Seagull getting res back up, does not have a Dragon Blade just yet. Nice deflect though, but oh god, the hammer coming in from Chronic out of nowhere is going to take him out, and Desperados making something happen here. I mean, they only have 2 minutes, 24 seconds left, but they're still on pace to maybe win this map.
No, but they've looked good in the last couple of minutes here. Just I know they're playing more aggressively than they have been previously, and it's because they have to, just based on the clock here. MTG with a couple kills early himself.
Oh
Seagull
no, Dragon Blade Sound Bearer coming out. Seagull ready to do work. Moving in the back, has 1 kill, makes it 2. Looking for a third, has to back out. But that is going to stop a lot of the offensive momentum coming out of Desperados.
Yeah, now just shy of 2 minutes left on the clock to finish out this map. That might be the nail in the coffin, so to speak, for Gibraltar, for Desperados here. And they were making some good progress, though. They looked decent for a while.
Yeah, they did look decent. That being said, time-wise, I have 1:42 left. I'm not going to say it's mathematically impossible, but it's pretty darn close. The Desperados need something to happen right here, right now. But look at Gods. Gods with the Deadeye. No, he's stymied by that flashbang. And everything not over yet for the Desperados. Dump Truck with the Dragon Blade moving forward. But no, a big Earth Shatter coming down from Milo. Going to be a bit of a momentum breaker here. That being said, Milo in trouble, getting swarmed on all sides. Mouse wanting, looking for anything, going to get taken out by Chronic. Kill feed now starting to go in favor of Desperados. They have 1:10 left. This is really, really close on their end. I feel like this should be LG's game, but Desperados at least keeping it a bit interesting. We do see the Earthshare coming out for Chronic. Chronic going in, is able to take out Gods, but really LG doesn't have to stall for much longer here. Even Seagull on the cart, even if he dies in a moment here, he's buying so much time. I feel like this should be LG's game.
Yeah, more than likely, but what I do like coming out of GE here is that they've just had a sense of urgency, and I think they're much better when they're playing super aggressive. I think early on they may have been a little passive. Again, I think nerves have to play into it a little bit. You know, now you're on the stage with the big boys in NA, and you know, look a little shaken, but they've improved as every game has gone on, and I think they're best when they're being ultra aggressive.
Definitely. I think you see more coming out of Desperados when their back is against the wall. That being said, with a mere 20 seconds remaining, they're not going to be able to get this to the end. Still, not a bad effort for them in the end. Definitely showing signs of life. But LG able to hang in there. And a big triple kill Deadeye coming out from Gods. Seagull running to the back, going to get the kill onto Lucio and more with the aid of Enigma. And that's going to be a full team wipe. Team wipe horn goes out and GGs are called.
Yeah, just a little bit better on defense from Desperados, and we might have seen a different outcome there as they got really rolled through the first point. You know, they put a pretty good offense up, just not enough to match LG's offense.
I know, and Desperados, I mean, not the worst showing, but LG definitely showing why they are a better team, I think, right now at the very least. Desperados, though, they still have 2 maps, at least 2 maps to bring it back. We'll see how it goes. But really good stuff coming out from LG.
Yeah, they've looked good, and you know, just based on what we've seen so far in Overkill, of course we do have a day left, but it's mostly between Luminosity Gaming and Cloud9 right now. Of course, Desperados looking to take a couple maps and really kind of make a name for themselves in the scene before we jump out of beta here, and a decent showing against Luminosity Gaming, so it's something to keep an eye out on the team-wise though. But we still have 2 maps left, and I think, you'd have to consider it somewhat of a victory here for Grouchy Desperados if they're able to take a map off a team of the caliber of Luminosity Gaming.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they were able to take at least a map, that'd be huge. It wouldn't really do too much for their odds of getting into the playoffs of the tournament, but definitely just morale-wise, it'd be great. But LG is a different team nowadays. They look very much improved, and that's going to be rough.
Yeah, and a lot of
By the way, I'm just going to say this on a personal note. That is a non-zero amount of yellow McCrees in this game. Arguably one of the most offensive skins in the game, just as it's so bright yellow, like Banana McCree. I don't even.
I personally love that skin, but you know, you and I have some different tastes on things, on different heroes we like, and etc.
No, I would use that skin just to sort of go like, look, you have to look at my yellow McCree.
I know it's gaudy. It's kind of just so flashy. Like, I'm so good at McCree that I don't need to blend into the background or anything like that. Here I am, Banana Man, come and get me. He's
in stark contrast to the other McCree skin of the same type that is more like the Hamburglar skin.
Yeah, but I think like they missed a really good opportunity, did Blizzard, to name that skin Mr. Banana Grabber, which of course is derivative of the Hamburglar anyway, but it's for the Bluth Banana Company. Tragic, really.
So map choice going to be coming out now from the side of Desperados. They are down 1-0. LG striking first blood and looking pretty darn good at that. And man, look at this lobby, Hex. Like, you know, Milo's Golden Rhino, it just taunts me, man.
Yeah, of course, we brought that up earlier. ZP just absolutely confounded on the presence of the Golden Rhino. So make sure to tweet him your pictures of Golden Rhinos wherever you see them in public, as I know we all often run into Golden Rhinos in our everyday life.
Why is there a gold rhino on Numbani? And speaking of Numbani, as if talking about the gold rhino summoned
You've summoned it.
We are moving into Numbani for the second map. That is the choice of Desperados.
All right, Desperados looked, I don't know, it was a tale of two kind of moments for Desperados on Numbani. They got crushed early on, but of course it was the first time we'd ever seen them in competitive play. So like the first 2 or 3 pushes looked absolutely awful, and I was worried for them, and it was awful. And then they got it together, and they looked decent. And then as Mangachu had his game going, they looked a lot better. And then they actually put up a pretty decent showing against Liquid on Numbani. So it might be a map that they feel very comfortable on, and we'll see how well they can perform against Luminosity Gaming.
So we are getting in here right away to Numbani, and we'll see if Desperados can change their fate here. And you know, earlier today they didn't win it, but they didn't have the worst showing on Numbani either. So maybe there's something on here where they feel a little bit more comfortable on and think that they can surprise Luminosity on.
Banana.
So for those who are wondering why we're talking about the Golden Rhino, this thing right here, what is the I mean, this is not just a rhino statue. This thing is gold-plated. Why is this thing here?
You just don't understand art, man.
I guess not.
But it doesn't have to like
look
have
at
a
it.
reason.
Why is it so important that there's a player icon of it? I don't understand these things, but taking a look at things I do understand. Looking at the defense coming out for the Grouchy Desperados, we have Dump Truck on the Lucio, Mangachu on the Torbjorn, Chronic on Reinhardt, Naptime on Mercy, Bread Expert on Symmetra, and MTG on the McCree.
Yeah. So, you know, maybe we'll see Yellow McCree. Of course, Alt Chat is letting us know it's Dick Tracy. I know, but Mr. Banana Grabber is way cooler. Or Bananas McCream, if you will.
Right.
All right. Which side did you do? I was just
I did the defense. Tell us about the great people on the offense.
Well, that is going to be Gods himself on McCree. Seagull right now on an offensive Bastion. We'll see how that goes. I know Seagull does play a lot of Bastion when he's streaming. He does come up to Genji, though. Milo on offensive. Reinhardt, Enigma on Widow. Poops on Lucio. What is it with Lucio's and awesome names? And Esper on Mercy. Like, just the most fun names in the game. We have Durs, we have Bridgerbops, Pooks. I don't know what it is, man.
I don't know either. Chat a little bit confounded at the Golden Rhino talk, but we are getting in here. Seagull moving in. Offense on the way, and the offense deciding not to go up the gut, instead going through here on the left side. And Seagull very content just to bring down this Reinhardt shield. Offense taking its time, but honestly, Luminosity has sort of made a name for themselves, being more patient on their offensive runs, but getting more value off of it, not feeding the defense. Interesting offensive style to watch.
Yeah, so a very slow, methodical push coming through the stairs, while Enigma and Genji poke from the side over here on Seagull as well, trying to kind of really divert the attention of the Reinhardt, and it's working out pretty well.
Meanwhile, we have Gods coming in from the other side, pressuring the Reinhardt. I'll note, neither team has a Widowmaker. Interesting stuff. Take a look at that flashbang coming onto the Reinhardt. God's not able to save his teammate in time as the defense explodes for 4 kills there. at the expense of LG, and Desperados not looking too bad here early on. That being said, the offense still hanging in there, still trying to get some value, but Mangachu will be taking out Seagull, and
yeah,
looks like it's going to be a good defensive hold here from the side of the Desperados.
I just think the angle that they approached on was really rough to try to deal with Dump Truck and Dump Truck on 76, and then this turret up here as well. They were just simply too far away from it, and by the time they got in position of it, they were just getting poked down. Now, Brad Expert also hit a ton of huge orbs, able to get that charged up ultimate for that teleporter goes down as well. Dump Truck also has his tactical vision up, so a pretty nice first hold leads to a really nice advantage in ultimates for the defense.
Yeah, and we've seen Dump Truck do really good things on 76 earlier in the day. This might be a more comfortable map for him. That being said, LG all grouping up on that outer left side. We'll see just what they can do from that, but Mangachu able to take out Seagull again. This is now 6v5 in favor of the defense, and the defense with this double builder defense stymieing LG a little bit here.
Yeah, they're going to come up Main Street here. They don't really have anyone to take this high ground. Generally, Seagull would come up here and try to deal with everything going. Now he's trying to come up and deal with the ledge offense. Dump Truck in a little bit of trouble, gets out.
Yep, the offense not really going to him here just yet, waiting for their opportunity, but look at the defense. The defense pretty well in ults. They still have Tac Visor, they have Deadeye. They can unleash at any moment here on the offense, and the offense, I mean, they just need to pick a time to go in. That being said, Seagull coming out with the Dragon Blade, looking for his opportunity. Has to back out, though, took a lot of damage, and not liking what he saw. Yeah. MTG able to take out Enigma, and that Dragon Blade mostly going to go to waste.
I think that's what they were waiting for, is to hear the Dragon Blade get popped, because as soon as that came down, as did Torbjorn's ultimate as well, to get that turret hugely buffed. Seagull's going to come in and try to poke away at this turret, but during all that, Enigma was able to take on the teleporter in the backline, so that is at least some sort of window that the offense can exploit now.
Yeah, this defense from the Desperados really not too bad thus far. I mean, using positioning to their advantage. Earth Shatter does come down, does not get the value he's looking for. God's able to take out the Reinhardt immediately. Here comes the Deadeye from Gods, and this might be the value that LG sorely needs. But doesn't get anything off it. Everyone scatters. Down goes the turret. LG still with some momentum on their side. Resurrection going to bring up the fallen Reinhardt, but an Earth Shatter comes down. Reinhardt suddenly in trouble. MTG goes down. And God's looking for his opportunity, still alive here on the top.
Yeah, God's with a ton of picks. That turret is back up, though. However, they are actually bleeding players on defense right now. Brad Expert in the back is still trying to get something done.
And God's not only gets a triple kill, but punches Mercy in the face just for the exclamation point. So LG, with 4:20 left on the clock, going to get the payload moving.
Well, a pretty solid defense, though. I mean, it's, you know, a pretty nice stall tactic there happens. I was expecting them to be able to push a lot stronger through that defense, but they had ultimates, and after winning that first fight, they were in a great position, and they used all their ultimates well to kind of stall out that push as well. So now they're in a decent position also on defense, but this is better than they've looked defensively on most maps, speaking of the Grouchy Desperados.
Yep, we do see Dump Truck now on the Widow. Putting the Soldier 76 away, looking for any pickoffs, not able to get anything just yet. And meanwhile, look at the rest of the defense. The rest of the defense looking like they're ready to drop down at a moment's notice. They might be doing that in a moment. And Dump Truck able to take out Milo. Now the offense without Reinhardt. Desperados could have a moment of opportunity here.
Yeah, they're going to take the fight to him.
Seagull with a nice deflect, helping to take out MTG. Mangachu, though, taking out Enigma. Resurrect going to bring him back up. Good to be seeing a Dragon Blade here soon. Seagull, though, needing to get full HP first as Mangachu explodes for a double kill.
Yeah, Enigma kind of going a little too deep, gets taken out in the back lines there. That's really going to hurt some of the power of this push. However, they are still pushing with Reinhardt on the card. Dump Truck able to take out Gods. Now, both McCree's down. I think they're going to think twice about trying to push in here.
Yeah, and this has been kind of a tortured offense from LG. They've been getting things through, but Desperados is making them work for it and then some. They certainly still have the ability to complete the map out, but like I said, it's been a really good defense coming out, and we'll see what they do to crack it. That being said, Seagull does have Dragon Blade up. We should be seeing that momentarily.
Yeah, they're getting a really kind of strange position on defense. You don't often see teams kind of post up there, but it's really kind of throwing the LG offense off. They don't know whether to push in through there or just go below. Now they are going to go below, and the defense going to drop down on them. A nice Earthshatter takes down 2.
Yeah, Earthshatter doing some work. Meanwhile, looking at Seagull in the back. Seagull on the flank, looking for some value. Busts out the Dragon Blade, slicing and dicing. Down goes Dump Truck. Down goes McCree. Seagull, patience paying off. That was a long approach. Gets 2 kills on so far. Looking for a third. Has to put the Dragon Blade away. Soundbearer is out fighting the McCree, getting some work done. Down goes McCree, and Seagull being a big part of getting that offense through.
Yeah, Seagull with that Dragon Blade value, as always does a ton of work on Genji. Even when Genji was pretty far out of the meta, Seagull still ran him to great effect. Just so elusive on that too, does not die as often as we've seen some other Genjis after they bust out their ultimates. Some nice work done there. The rest of his team cleans up, including Gods. Now defense has to hold this last point. They put up a pretty decent time though. They're going to have a defensive sound barrier to work with as well.
Yeah, LG really getting the rhythm here. They're moving forward. Enigma with the Deadeye going to use it right now, hoping that someone peeks when they shouldn't be peeking. Might have to put it away, though. Does not get anything off that just yet. Meanwhile, on the defense, Mangachu coming in from the back, but no, he's going to get taken out by Gods. God says no way, makes it a double kill. And now LG in a great position to move forward. As Reinhardt here, just swinging the hammer wildly, not able to get what he wants. Both McCree's doing serious work, and the way is completely open now for LG to finish out the map.
Yeah, beyond that, Enigma is so far forward. He's in a really cheeky position now. He's actually just going to go to the cart and get more time on it, but if he does set up his Deadeye, it's going to be a zoning Deadeye. Anyone who comes out, it's going to be popped. But a pretty solid defense on first and some stall in mid there, and, you know, Grouchy's look better than they've looked all night. They're getting better each game, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Grouchy, I mean, they ended up getting capped on in the end, but really, Grouchy Desperados, not a bad look. They had some really good defense. Definitely threw LG for a loop for a while in the beginning of the Bunny, but in the end, really, after Seagull's great play in the back, that really opened up LG, and I don't think Desperados really recovered from that.
Gods. 5K on that play of the game. A mix of fanning the hammer, some long distance left clicks, taking out his opposing number in MTG on McCree, then winds it up with the Deadeye, takes down another 3. Gods has been phenomenal. What a pickup for LG. I mean, they were a good team. There was a decent team. They were probably in Beta 1, they were the top NA team for a while, and there was back and forth between them and Envious. Then they were up and down a little bit in Beta 2. They showed flashes being really good. They also showed some weaknesses here and there. Since they've overhauled this roster, they look like a different team, and in no small part because of Gods on McCree.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it adds another threat there, where before they were really relying on both Enigma and Seagull to make things happen, and you could sort of isolate the two of them, but with Gods on the team there, if you focus too much on Enigma and Seagull, Gods will absolutely rip you apart. We've seen him do it time and time again, and he's really been the missing piece.
And then you focus down Gods, and then Seagull busts out a Dragon Blade, and where did your team go? I mean, we've seen like the best teams always have to have 2 to 3 really good DPS players, or at least 2 good DPS and someone who can swap into a Widowmaker. Because even with Cloud9, now of course they rose to fame, and rose to prominence off of Shore4, but they didn't really start getting very, very good until Reaver was going off. And then they got really, really, really good when Grego would play on Widowmaker and allow Shore4 and Reaver to play whatever the hell they wanted. So really, just adding in those one players can change a whole dynamic of a roster.
Yep, we'll take a look here at the defense rolling out for the side of Luminosity. It's going to be Gods on the McCree, Esper on the Mercy, Pooks on Lucio, Milo on the Reinhardt, Enigma on a second McCree, and Seagull rounding things out on the Genji. And after his last game, why would he change Genji? He's had some great Genji plays here today.
Yeah, since Genji was released, Seagull has been a phenomenal player on it. And now, of course, offensively, Dump Truck is going to try to bust out his own Genji. MTG will be a McCree nap time on Mercy, Mangachu on Pharah, Chronic on Reinhardt, and Bread Experts on Lucio.
It's worth noting here again, we don't have a single offensive or defensive Widow here to start out our Nabani game.
Yeah, a little bit interesting, especially just how prevalent Widow has been. I mean, not only on Numbani, but just across all maps. I think if you see one team switch into it, you'll see the other team switch into it. But until then, they're just playing chicken and until they see each other's comps.
Yep, so the offense now moving forward. Mangachu looking to get big damage here on Pharah to start out the game, and very, very aggressive indeed. And the offense getting good positioning here thus far. Seagull, though, able to take out Dump Truck in that Genji v Genji battle. Not bad from Seagull. Looking for more, in fact. Has open shots onto the Mercy. God's able to take out Chronic, so that's 2 kills here for the defense. And I guess Seagull just wanting to change classes. Anyways, take a look here. Enigma able to take out Mangachu, and defense holding firm here thus far.
Yeah, some nice kills. Mangachu did come in with a very aggressive opening. If he would have been able to stay alive, I think it would have worked out better for him. Now I think they're going to get chased down in the back here. A nice stun comes off, but it only delays the inevitable.
This is such a weird point for an early fight for it to be going this far off the point. But that being said, the offense able to sneak in there, gets a third of a cap. Not the worst look for Desperados. But defense is going to swarm back in here. Should be able to clean it out. And decent back and forth on both sides here. I'd say LG's been winning these fights pretty cleanly, but a little bit of razzle-dazzle does get the Desperados at least a third.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than they should have gotten out of that, right? They were just in a weird position in the back and getting cleaned up, so able to sneak in a third of the capture point is, you know, any sort of victory there was nice to come away with.
Well, take a look here. Dump truck on the Genji harass will get taken out by Gods in the end. And that's going to hurt the offense. I mean, they have to wait for Dump truck to get back, and otherwise they end up taking 5 seconds. Look at this. The defense moving forward off the Lucio speed boost, not wasting any time. Down goes Chronic. And the defense just being absolutely smothering here. They're going to push back Desperados even more. I'll tell you what, they just want to hold here on first point. They don't even want to wait for an extra period of time.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to win games if you just win that first point defense. Games end a lot faster as well, but I think offense here might be maybe looking to get a Deadeye. I think they're going to wait for their next push to get an Earth Shatter, a Sound Barrier, or a Barrage. They're all very close to getting them.
Defense moving forward here yet again, but the charging coming out from Chronic. MTG with the double kill Deadeye. Mangachu with the barrage for above. That's 4 kills for the Desperados. Seagull one, last one's remaining, does have the Dragon Blade. It's not enough, he's going to go down as well. So Desperados suddenly exploding here, and this should get them the point.
Yeah, Mangachu solo ulted, but if you're going to solo ult and target, why not pick a Mercy who has Resurrection up to really solidify that fight for him? A smart choice there, able to really just lock down any chance of, you know, the defense coming back into that fight. Smart play there, using the ults. They are not going to have the ultimate advantage going forward, but they have to do everything they can to get this cart and get it moving, and now they're in a pretty solid spot here.
Well, time-wise, the Desperados have about 4 minutes. It's still doable on their end, but they can't get really stuck in the streets for any reason whatsoever, or it will be bad news for them. That being said, the defense moving forward. Flashbang over the shield does not connect. And now the offense taking the time. Sound Barrier is up. They're pushing this back. Sound Barrier up on both sides. Both teams still at full. Here comes the Deadeye for Enigma, looking for any sort of pick-off that he can get. Is going to have to sheath it in the end. Godzo takes out Mangachu. 65 in favor of the defense. MTG takes out Milo, evening things out at least a little bit. Both teams with decent positioning, and Enigma being fearless goes in, takes out Dump Truck, gets W-moused one by Chronic in the end. So both teams really back and forth here thus far.
What a dive in there by Enigma. That was crazy. He does get resurrected and then takes out Nap Time as well.
Enigma makes another double kill off that resurrection. Enigma still holding strong. He's going to take out the Pharaoh with the aid of Gods, and not a bad run here for LG. They're holding firm, but the offense still being persistent. Enigma in some trouble here, is going to get punched down by Bread Expert. And the fight still joined here, but the offense definitely at a bit of a disadvantage. As Gods comes out the double kill Deadeye.
Yeah, you deal with one of the McCrees and Enigma, and then Gods is still there. They do have to resurrect to deal with that. Dump Truck does take out his counterpoint in Gods, and now they're on the cart. They're having some decent momentum here. Seagull is above, though, ready to bust out Dragon Blade. Here it comes.
Here comes the Dragon Blade. He's looking for it. He's low HP, though. He can't really go too ham, and he's going to get taken out by MTG. Dragon Blade getting no value, and Desperados getting to the point. Seagull saying, what a nice push, but look at this, the offense moving forward.
This one's on the half.
Yeah, I think he got stuck in some of the vegetation on Numbani. It's a very lush map.
Desperados here, they still have 2 minutes and 18 seconds. They could pull this out here, Hex.
Yeah, they're looking pretty decent. Now, they are going to have a resurrection up too, but more importantly, both of their Deadeyes are about going. They almost have Sound Barrier and Earth Shatter too, so I think they're going to try to do a little bit more poke. And I think it'd be smart for LG to engage, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Huge Earth Shatter.
Earth Shatter comes in. They're going to totally clean this out. Gods with the triple kill. The Earth Shatter really setting that up. And Nap Time not able to end Nap Time for his team by getting a res off. He goes down as well. So
yeah, I think they had a sixth sense that they were about to get a bunch of ults back up, and they were absolutely correct on that. A smart moment to engage to stall them out. However, the ults will be coming up for Grouchy Desperados momentarily. They're going to have a full kitchen of tools here to work with.
So time-wise, they only have 1:30. They really need to make this next push a success. Otherwise, it should be LG's map. A lot of ultimates are out for both sides, but as you said, the offense absolutely stocked. And let's take a look at Mangachu here. I think the key to this, he needs to get a good barrage. Deadeyes are coming out on both sides. In comes Mangachu over the top, and barrage does not connect. God's able to shoot him out of the sky with that Deadeye. There is going to resurrect that will bring up some of the fallen offensive heroes, but Enigma right on top of that gets a double kill. God's in the back, takes out Chronic. and LG. Defense is successful, and now with a mere 1 minute remaining, things not looking all that great for Desperados. I do think they'll have a last-second desperation push, but they really need to get something done there.
Yeah, one of the only ones up is Mangachu's Barrage, like you mentioned. He was unable to get that off. He did make a really nice play with his concussion blast off the wall to get in really deep over the top. I imagine we'll see him try to reprise that again. Seagull does come up on Torbjorn, knowing that they're down to their last defensive hold here, and it's fine to run this sentry. Last fight incoming, either way.
30 seconds remain. This has to be a very decisive wipe here for Desperados, or they will be losing this map. They're moving in. Mangachu, he has to go in. He has to drop the barrage any moment now, or it's not going to be enough. Only 20 seconds remain. Both teams still at full strength. Dump Truck able to take out Milo. Seagull, though. Aardvark ping off. Seagull with the double kill.
In this game did Grouchy. I know there were a lot of worries. I mean, internally, externally, who is this team? Are they going to be able to keep up? Well, they can definitely at least keep up with Luminosity Gaming, despite losing that.
A little too late, though. MTG with the Deadeye. Time-wise, time is gone. That is it. LG going to take the map and go up 2-0 over the Desperados.
Oh, but so close, too. I mean, they looked really decent in this game, did Grouchy. I know there were a lot of worries. I mean, internally, externally, who is this team? Are they going to be able to keep up? Well, they can definitely at least keep up with Luminosity Gaming, despite losing that map. Looked pretty decent. Luminosity, though, very, very strong, up 2-0 in this set.
Yeah, definitely a good look for LG, and you know, I think LG at points does have their weaknesses. They are a much stronger team than we've been used to seeing, and they're able to hold on strong versus a Desperados team that really looked a little bit invigorated here in the Bonnie, both on the defense and on the attack.
Yeah, I think they're the best when they're being aggressive, and I think with the more we see them play, the more comfortable they're getting playing, just kind of understanding the stakes that are up, up for grabs here in our league. They've gotten a little better every match, but LG definitely still the favorite. Looked very, very good there off just really strong play by a lot of different heroes. So they are up 2-0 in this set, looking to take it in a clean sweep, going up 3-0, and we'll see what our next map is. It is up to the Grouchy Desperados to decide.
Of course, the Grouchy Desperados, they've inherited Envious's record, so they are down. They were down 2 sets entering the day. They lost a set earlier to Team Liquid, and they are about to lose another set to Luminosity. Already, they're probably knocked out in terms of making the playoffs, but certainly that would absolutely be the case if Luminosity takes a set in a clean sweep.
Yeah, looking to play spoilers, looking to win some maps, looking to make a name for themselves. So we'll see what they can do. It is their map choice, and they were very aggressive on banning out some maps as well. So they tried to make this a pool with mostly King of the Hills. I imagine we'll be going to a King of the Hill map. Now they forgot what they banned out. They're asking what the maps are.
Our remaining maps here, of course, we've played, looking at what we've played here, maybe we'll go to a King of the Hill map. We'll see. I think Lijiang's still in the pool.
Lijiang's still in the pool. So we've played Gibraltar, we've played Numbani, so it's down to Nepal, Lijiang, and Hollywood.
Might be seeing more double Winston yet, but let's see, will they choose Hollywood? And they will choose Hollywood. Right. Third map going to be a payload map, but if they are able to force a map number 4, it's going to be King of the Hill all the way.
For sure. All right, so we'll see what goes on here on Hollywood, and now after that we'll be going to King of the Hill if Grouchy Desperados is able to take it that far. I think they're really good when they're playing super aggressive, so I'd like to see them be very aggressive. I wouldn't mind them running maybe Mangachu on Farah, going over the top. They've had some decent success with that as well. We'll just see how it plays out, what kind of compositions we see. But also, you know, LG, this is a map I always associate with LG. I think it goes back to them being on Not Enigma in those days as well. So, Not Enigma, and then they were mix-up. You know, the core of the roster has remained similar. It's always been kind of Enigma and Seagull at the very least. We'll see how it goes here. I like LG's chances here, but Grouchy Desperados, like I said, they've looked improved every map that we've seen them play on. So maybe they get over the hump here. Maybe they bust out an interesting strat. Only time will tell.
We'll see, but they definitely need to pull out something big if they want to beat LG here on this map. That being said, taking a look here at the defense coming out from the one and only Grouchy Desperados, looks like we're going to be seeing Mangachu on the Junkrat. Dump Truck, probably not on the Lucio, probably just going to be helping speed up Bread Expert. Looking at things that aren't Lucio's, Bread Expert on the Symmetra, Nap Time on the Mercy, Chronic on the Reinhardt. And actually, I don't know, between MTG's usually been on the McCree's, so maybe it will be Dump Truck on the Lucio after all.
Justice ain't gonna dispense itself.
Interesting.
Yeah, Dump Truck has been really nailing hit scan lately tonight. He was had a couple good games on 76 especially, so maybe just it's time to switch things up. Now Dump Truck on Torbjorn.
I don't know, I guess they were just running Lucio to speed things up to begin with. They're not going to be running Lucio here at all, instead opting for the double builder defense.
Well,
interesting stuff coming out from them, and we'll see just how it works.
Yeah, offensively, I'm pretty confident that Gods is going to be on McCree. Seagull, of course, very diverse in his hero pool. He'll be running Pharah. Enigma, also another player who can play a lot of different heroes. He's on Zarya. Pooks is going to be on Lucio, Esper on Mercy, and Milo on old reliable Reinhardt.
Thank you kindly.
So we'll see what Seagull can get done here. He's probably going to try to jump over the top. He's going to notice those turrets, and then they're going to readjust after that.
Indeed. So we'll see what LG has in store to break this double builder defense. That being said, Seagull not wasting any time as Pharah can go over the top, and lucky for him, he's not going to have to deal with the defensive Widowmaker here. We've seen defensive Widow a lot. Hit scan threats only really limited to MTG, though MTG has been on point here today. This is something very workable for Seagull. He should be able to get over the top, and we'll just see here in a second. Both teams still full strength, and LG taking their time. LG not really known for going super deep in on Hollywood. They are a little bit more methodical. Seagull taking his time taking out the turrets, and now with the turret down, they really could have an opportunity to go deep in here. That being said, MTG coming in from the window, able to take out Seagull. Flashbang on point, looking for more. Milo in a little bit of trouble here, is going to go down. Resurrection, though, going to bring up all those fallen heroes on the offense, and LG now with a real opportunity.
Yeah, Resurrection does come out on defense, though, so we're at full strength from both sides again, essentially resetting the kill feed. God's able to take down Chronic, though. They were up a tank. Milo capitalizes on that shield being down, hits his own Earth Shatter.
Double kill coming out from Gods. Kill feed going all in favor of Luminosity right now. Slow and steady, definitely winning the race. Seagull Enigma getting in there, and this should be a very quick point A capture for Luminosity. And again, sort of a slow and patient style coming out from them, but it's really been helpful to them on Hollywood.
Yeah, it's brutal. Bread Expert died with a full charge on Symmetra, unable to get that teleporter down to maybe salvage that fight. Huge ultimate advantage in favor of Luminosity. What defense is going for them right now is that they are on the rooftops. They have the defense set up at least for that.
And this might be a first here, Hex. Are we seeing a Hollywood Streets phase without a Widowmaker on either side? Is this happening?
It seems like both these teams are comfortable not running the Widow. They would prefer to run Pharahs over Widows, and I, for one, am a huge fan of that.
Yeah, no, definitely exciting to see the Pharah play, but just, I mean, usually there's Widow duels on Hollywood,
right,
but not happening this time. Pharah on the top, Pharah shooting towards the top, so bit of a Pharah war back and forth, and Mangachu getting some really good poke in. Graviton Surge is out for the offense, and Justice waiting from above. Seagull with the double kill. Seagull will get taken out as part of that, though. Not going to get rezzed up immediately. Both teams trading it out. Seagull in the respawn right now, won't be back for a little bit. Meanwhile, the defense absolutely smothering, getting 4 kills off that. So even though the payload got good progress for the offense getting stymied a bit there. Well, interesting fight.
The big difference in that scrum is that Esper went down for Luminosity Gaming. So while the Resurrection was available for Grouchy Desperados, it was not for Luminosity. It allowed them to bring it back to full force. And even that said, Naptime, after using that Resurrection, already at 60% on his ultimate yet again.
Take a look here. Mangachu does have Barrage at the ready. We'll have to deal with Seagull, though. The Pharah v Pharah duel is happening on the top. Both sides landing some rockets. Meanwhile, Mangachu could be dropping Barrage any moment. This is a beautiful spot to drop it, but no, he's going to get taken out by Gods instead. The offense of LG now getting a lot of inroads. Takes out 3 people on the defense. Mangachu is back up off the Resurrection, but in some very deep trouble. Barrage comes down, does not get value at all. God's going to get taken out by MTG, but still not a bad look from LG here as they push through the Streets phase, and they might get this right here, right now.
Yeah, this limo has been moving non-stop with its cranky executive inside, talking trash about Jesse McCree as a name, but Jesse McCree as a hero has been doing tons of work. Dump Truck comes up on Widowmaker, just on cue. Gonna play that defensive Widow. You might see it answered with an offensive Widow here or there.
Dump Truck gets punched in the face by Seagull. Need that little bit of extra damage, and now LG in a great position here. They're moving forward. Seagull's still alive. We'll have the barrage up here in a moment.
Punched by
and the
Seagull.
defense of Desperados in a bit of dire straits here.
Punched by a Seagull. Let's see it, chat. Also, Seagull almost with his barrage up. Both Deadeyes up as well. We're going to see a huge fracas here breaking out shortly. This one, I think, is just for zoning. The second one is where the deadliness is going to come in. They might just stagger and just keep zoning throughout this whole tunnel. We
do see a defensive Deadeye coming out now from the side of the Desperados. Chronic going a little bit too deep in, gets taken out. Mangachu losing the Seagull. And now LG, if they get 1 or 2 more picks, this could be it. That being said, Bread Expert able to take out Milo. Resurrection is out for the defense, but the offense still swarming in there. 3 kills between them. Mangachu, though, able to take out Seagull with a mid-air. Seagull, though, getting right back up. Esper on point with the Resurrection. Down comes the Earth Shatter. Enigma with the double kill, and there it is. A very quick time being set by Luminosity, and they've put themselves in a great position to 3-0 Desperados.
Yeah, as fun as that air battle was to watch, Enigma on the ground with a 3K really locked down that last offensive push. Nap time been hitting huge reses. I think he's gotten play of the game the last, last like 3 sets. So he's doing his job here. This is that res that really helped them kind of retake defensive point, really stall it out. But a very good time put up by Luminosity Gaming. 437.
Yeah, 437. That's one of the quicker Hollywood times I've ever seen. Definitely very rough times coming out for the Desperados. They don't want to get swept here by LG, but that might be their fate because trying to beat LG in under 437, that's going to be rough.
Yeah, more like Desperados, right?
Oh, God. Why?
It's getting late. Leave me alone. 437 is a very quick time. It went better in my head. Actually, even in my head, I'm like, don't say that. Don't say that. You said it. So, little fight with my brain there trying to, I don't know, say something. I knew it was dumb. I don't care. I'm done. Anyway, so Desperados with, in desperation mode, as it were, back against the walls here. 437, an incredibly difficult time to beat. And what we've seen when teams put up a time this fast, offenses have to respond in something that they're not comfortable with. Sometimes they have to run different compositions. They can't really take a slow and steady approach. They're under the gun. You're going to see them probably just try to really bully in here, not really go in a different route. Just probably come right down mainstream, shoot and pray, and hope it all works out for them.
Yeah, I mean, really, for Desperados, they're going to have to set an incredibly quick time. They really can't get wiped out too much at any point. Maybe they can suffer 1 team wipe, but anything more than that, and they are going to be in very dire straits. That being said, taking a look here at the defense, coming out from the side of LG, we're going to have Milo on the Reinhardt, Seagull on the Junkrat, Pooks on Lucio, God's Enigma on a pair of McCrees, respectively, and Esper rounding things out on the Mercy.
Yeah, offensively, it doesn't look like they're really doing much different. Nap time is going to be on the Mercy, Bread Expert on the Lucio, Chronic, of course, on Reinhardt. Mangachu is going to play an offensive Junkrat for the moment. Dump Truck is flexed into Zarya, MTG on McCree. Would not be stunned to see Mangachu come up on Pharah, and I think the reason is they want to run a huge wombo here with Zarya. Getting her Graviton Surge. Of course, you can combo it with a Junkrat. Actually, Junkrat's primary is also just decent with a Graviton Surge. But one of the first times we're seeing Dump Truck on Zarya today, and I think the difference is they need those game-changing ultimates.
Definitely. So the timer is about to start here. A mere 437 is in play. We'll see if Desperados can beat that time, but it's going to be rough. And no Widowmaker yet again here for both sides, so Widow not just the most loved here in this matchup.
Yeah, it's almost like a gentleman's agreement. Like, you guys tired of playing against Widow? Yeah, let's just not.
That being said, the offense not wasting any time. They're getting in here, but the defense swarming all around them. That being said, both teams still at full, but Enigma gets first blood on the Chronic. Seagull getting some bombs in there, gets the double kill. And things looking very, very good for the side of LG here. They're going to defend this first push in dominant fashion and built-in ultimates at that.
Yeah, not the best push out there. Now they are entering kind of the ultimate phase of the game. At least Mangachu is. He has a tire up. It's going to have to be the tire of his life to take this first point and really get on pace to try to beat this time.
Seagull dropping the bombs above is damage boosted, getting a whole ton of value off that. Already has a tire built up. And while we do have some ultimates up on the offense, it's probably not going to be enough to set, but the tire immediately getting taken out, runs into a counter Junkrat bomb. Meanwhile, here comes a tire for the offense. Tire from the offense also not getting a whole lot done, and the defense swarming in there. McCree's getting 4 kills respectively for the defense, and rough times right now for the Desperados. Time-wise, they only have about 3 minutes left, and time is not on their side.
Mangachu actually switches off of Junkrat, even though he had 100%. Dump Truck at 100% on Zarya, too. I thought that might have been a decent combination worth trying to invest in, especially given the situation that they find themselves in.
Enigma with the double kill as well, just piling on, and this is ugly right now. The defense of the LG very much on point. That being said, they might have extended too far out. They just fed 2 kills. Desperados moving in. They do have a Graviton Surge, and I think they might have just gotten a little bit greedy there. Because now this is looking really, really good for the offense.
Oh yeah, there's definitely just kind of like some hubris and almost even to the point of BM there, just pushing that far forward. You almost never go past your arch on defense, you know, on Hollywood here, and they just felt they could afford it. And honestly, they can. They set such a good time on offense that even losing fights like that, look at this, they're taking the elevator up.
They're taking the elevator. It's a team effort there. Graviton, they're taking the elevator back down because they have no choice. Oh man, the Graviton, I didn't really do much. I guess it kind of annoyed them, but it's like you think you're getting off the stop. Yes, again. That being said, the offense is moving forward. Tyra from Seagull coming in, being a little bit evasive here. Still alive, in fact. 2 kills for the offense. Tyra comes out, takes out Mangachu. Again, LG doesn't even really need to win fights here. They just need to not lose fights terribly, and they should be able to win this. Offensive Resurrection is up, but 3 extra kills for the defense. Moving forward, Gods with the double kill. Seagull going to go down the MTG, but man, the defense, I think they're doing enough here. Time-wise, there's only a minute 40 left, so we're very quickly approaching a point where mathematically this is not going to be winnable for the Desperados.
Yeah, pretty rough stuff here. Seagull does decide to just pop onto Farah, I think just for funsies. They do have a couple of Deadeyes up. They're going to have to hit and kill every single one of them just to even have a chance at this. Right now, it's looking pretty grim for the Grouchy Desperados.
You see the Deadeyes coming out here from the offense, and Reinhardt just has a shield up, doesn't really care, and the counter Deadeye comes out. God's proving himself to be the fastest gun in the West. And this is bad times here for Desperados. LG moving forward, looking absolutely dominant here, and this is rough.
Yeah, you know, McCree on top of Whiskey Jack Saloon feels pretty fitting. I always thought Dorado was McCree's map, and I thought Route 66 was McCree's map. Maybe he's an actor, and Hollywood is his map.
Who knows?
Huh?
That being said, time-wise, this is GG now for Luminosity. There's no way Desperados can bring it back. Congrats, Luminosity, coming in with a strong statement. 3-0 in the set. Definitely a good day for them. And rough times for Desperados. Desperados definitely, I mean, they have potential. They showed us some pretty good highlights. And oh my goodness, the Earth Shatter coming out from Milo. Absolutely devastating. Knocks down pretty much everyone on the offense. The offense, though, hanging in there. Chronic coming back with the charge of his own. Of course, this is all just sort of doesn't matter too much now. Seagull coming at the barrage gets 2, 3 kills for Seagull, make it 4. Seagull coming in with a little bit of razzle dazzle to put the nail into the coffin. A mere 5 seconds remains. That's going to be it. That's GG. I gotta say, Luminosity looking pretty darn good.
Yeah, they look like a brand new team, and you know, early predictions. Of course, we are going to play out tomorrow's sets, of course, just to let everyone get chances to play, of course. But it looks like, you know, Luminosity Gaming versus Cloud9, the top 2 teams in NA right now. It'd be hard to argue for another team in there, just with the dominant performances. And I'm looking forward to those sets if we get them. It should be fun.
Definitely. So that being said, Hex, that brings us to the end of our casting day. That was the last set. We're going to be back tomorrow with more North American group stages, though. Same time here on Tuesday for the Overkill.gg League. But Hex, before we sign off, do you have any final words, shout-outs, selling out? The floor is yours.
It's not selling out, it's buying in, and yeah, thank you to Metrino, G2A, and DX Racer, of course. They are the sponsors who let us put these things on. Our 5K Overkill League tournament, wonderful. It's been a blast casting with you, ZP. I think I'm back tomorrow for some more NA action on Overkill. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that is @Hexagrams. If you want to follow me on Twitch, that is twitch.tv/Hexagrams. I'm going to be streaming right now, right immediately following the stream. But yeah, that's it for me, and I'll see you guys back for more Overkill shortly. Time is yours, ZP.
Yeah, for me, pretty simple. I stream on non-casting days at Twitch ZP_TV. Definitely follow me there. Also, you can follow me on Twitter @TempoZP. I assure you, I will not bomb your Twitter feed with tons of tweets. I'm terrible at tweeting, but one of your best ways of showing support for your favorite casters is following them on Twitter. It actually matters. And that's about it for selling out. Thank you, of course, to all the people at GosuGamers who help make these tournaments happen in the background. Thank you to Hex for casting with me. Thank you to our teams for giving us some great games. And thank you to the viewers for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow for another great day of North American group stages. But that being said, our time here has come to an end, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.